Okay, so hello everyone. Today my topic is going to be about internet addiction. So internet addiction is basically when a person is excessive in his use for electronic devices just in order to access the internet. So for example, you sit in class, you don't focus. You use your mobile phone just to access the internet, to check your Snapchat, your Instagram, just to communicate with your friends and get access to the internet. In this case, you become internet addicted. So I want to ask a question. How many hours do you usually use the internet? Like daily?
I think in total
20 hours.
3 to 4 hours, let's say. 3 to 4 hours daily? Okay. So according to Snow, who is an author who worked in the New York Times in Leicester, England, he stated in one of his articles that technology is a queer thing. It gives you gifts with one hand and stabs you in the back with the other. So basically this quote means that if we take the internet as an aspect of technology, it gifts you with knowledge and entertainment to watch movies, TV series, gaming, and in the aspect of getting information to do your projects, homeworks, and assignments. In the backstabbing aspect, it gets you to the negative ways of getting addicted to the internet. So today I will be talking about what internet addiction is, what are its symptoms, its causes that cause these symptoms to happen, and finally I will state the different various ways of treating this addiction. So as university students, we use this a lot because it helps us to make our work easier, get access to information easier, and instead of get access to the internet instead of going through books to find the information. So it's easier to find the information by using the internet. According to Sinkelen, who worked in the University of Eastern Finland, he did this research on a sample of 475 students. In his university, this sample, it turned out to be 14.3% of normal users. So out of these 475, 14.3% are only normal users of the internet. The others turned out to be moderate or overusers. So this resembles that they are internet addicted. According to Sinkelen, there are emotional symptoms and physical symptoms. So we can face the emotional symptoms by feeling guilty, you feel depressed, you get isolated from people around you, and for the physical symptoms you get headaches, backaches, and disturbance in sleep, and you get the blurred vision, which leads to wearing eyeglasses. I'm internet addicted. So, according to Etisalat officials, more than a quarter of the UAE population are using the internet, which out of them are 44% of the families. So, if we say a family, 44% of the families in the UAE use the internet, this in return affects the kids, which in return affects them when they get to schools and university, because they get addicted to the internet to find information for their assignments and studies. So now that I've discussed the symptoms of internet addiction and the definition, I will move on to what causes this addiction to happen. So according to the New York Times, parents nowadays have a huge pressure on their kids just to achieve high expectations and get high grades. This makes the students frazzled and strung out because they can't focus on one aspect because of this internet addiction. They want to find information, get high grades. It has a lot of pressure on the kids. This in return is a cause because it makes them addicted to the internet, which in return makes them isolated from their parents and family. The second aspect is the factor of it becoming a routine in our life. When you're holding your mobile on the desk, when the mobile vibrates, you have to go and check what's on your mobile because it's a part of us. So we became used to it. According to Judy Rollins in her book Unplugged, she says that she did this research with some students from different universities to take the mobile away and forbid them from using the internet for 24 hours. So one student reacted to this by saying, in our modern world, it's impossible for us to do this. We cannot stay away from the internet, and we always have to communicate with friends and family and to get access to any entertaining stuff. Another student in China reacted to this by saying communication in media is as a breath, because it's a part of him. So if we say that a breath is important for us to live, it's as the communication for us to live. So it's basically become a part of us. Another student in Slovakia, he reacted that that everything he knew was taken away from him and that he was being tortured. So getting this away from him made him feel that he is tortured by not accessing the internet. So finally, after observing these symptoms and the causes that cause these symptoms to appear, we'll finally move to exploring the various ways of treatment. So I will go through two ways of treating this internet addiction. One way is time management. Time management is based on you knowing as a person where you spend the time, how much do you spend on what aspect on the internet. If you go for six hours just for entertainment and then 4 hours for finding information, 10 hours is a lot. Why not distribute this by going for like 2 to 3 hours on this and 2 to 3 hours on the second aspect? Distributing the time is one factor that can affect this less internet addiction. Another way is by family interactions and gatherings. Let's say we can also go for the family communication. So from my personal experience, me and the family, we usually do this Thursday gathering where we switch our mobiles to silent, put them in the middle of the table, and then we go for a full circle and just interact with each other, discuss what previous weeks, what did we experience in previous weeks, what chores we had to do for next weeks, just for like 2-3 hours to stay away from this from technology. So in conclusion, I would like to say that every aspect of technology nowadays, including the internet, has pros and cons, but the only factor that makes us special in this is how we as humans deal with it in order to deal with both sides of the same coin. Thank you.
Questions?
I like how you gather with your family.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
If I told this to my father, I would think I'm crazy.
Mine too. I thought this was great and very helpful. The one comment I have is, at some point you were telling us what to do, and you can't tell us that in an informative speech. You can represent it more like scholars have agreed that some of the ways we can battle internet addiction are, and give examples, but not tell us what to do to handle it. Another thing I would have liked to maybe hear a little bit more about is the sort of more dramatic portrayal of the addiction to the internet. And even if you think of gaming, for example, and the kids who've killed themselves over the simulation games, I think, that's sort of fascinating and should have kind of made it. That's why I was worried about your speech being too broad when you were talking to me about it. It's exactly why, because there are so many things that go under this, under these forms of internet addictions. There's like gambling is one problem, internet shopping is another problem, and gaming. I mean, those could have been 3 ways to talk about the very drastic effects of being addicted to the virtual world. And one of them, of course, is social skills. And there's pros and cons to that. Some people think that actually the internet has improved social skills. For a lot of people who are very shy and introverted, it's taught them confidence. So I would have liked to see a little bit more of these two sides of the problem. rather than focusing on just the negative and then telling us how to fix it, which would have been more appropriate, I think, for persuasive speech rather than for an informative. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the way you arranged the material was very clear, your use of sources was very clear, the data was really interesting, and the delivery was great, just eye contact everywhere. Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.